Hello, Resurrection. It's October the 19th, and as you can tell, it is Casual Wednesday at Church of the Resurrection, also known as I'm cold and this shirt is so warm day. My kids tell me that this shirt makes me look like Cookie Monster. You have to have high self-esteem to be a parent because you're not going to get esteem from anywhere else other than yourself for a few years. One of the things that we're big on at my house is family being a team sport. Now, we haven't always said it that way, but as my kids have gotten older and they're into team sport kind of things, that's kind of become a mantra at my house that family is a team sport. If one person is late to school or to church, everybody's late. If one person's not doing well, if one person's having a bad day, usually everybody's having a bad day, and it works the other way too. We can build each other up, and uh, uh, it's a team sport. What happens to one of us happens to all of us, and we try to keep that in mind in the Jones house. We don't always do a great job, but in the church, we say the same thing. The church is a team sport. We don't say it in those words. We actually say that Christianity is a communion event, right? That living in community, in communion with one another, is what we do in church, and that's absolutely the truth. When the church is doing well, that it affects every single one of us. And I don't mean, of course, the church building or the institution of the church, but I mean the church of God. When it's doing well in one place in the world, it strengthens somewhere else in the world. Jesus used to say that Christians were a team sport, were team players, by saying that each of us is one part of the body, and that's exactly the truth. That I may not be a finger or I may not be a toe, but we've got to have the fingers and the toes, and I might not be a mouth or I might not be an ear, but we have to have the mouths and the ears, because what would we do without them? Because we all work together on one team in communion, in community, and that is what the church does. It's what families do. It's what the great human family does or should do. But it certainly is what the church does. Uh, if I come across the finish line first, that's great if I'm running a sprint. But say if I'm running cross country, if I come across first, that's great. But the person who comes across last is on my team too. So it's in my best interest to be helpful to that person who might come in last, and vice versa, to lean on one another, because that's what playing on a team is all about. If my salvation is sure and my brother is lost, then that hurts me and it hurts the church. If someone in the church is lonely, if someone in the church is unhappy, if someone in the church is lost in their sin, if someone in the church is in need, it hurts every one of us. If someone in the church is strong, if someone in the church is filled with joy or the Holy Spirit, it makes all of us better. So when the church is snippy within itself, it hurts. It hurts us all. Not only here on Sneed Road, it hurts the folks at St. George's. It hurts the folks at St. Bees. It hurts the folks at the cathedral. It hurts the church throughout the world because we're not as strong as we could be. When the church is living in harmony and in joy, it makes everyone in the church across the world better. It points us towards our goal, points us towards the finish line of salvation in Jesus Christ, which is what the church is all about. So that's why we come to church together. That's why we get up on Sunday mornings and we come together to worship. It's why we don't just pour a cup of coffee and sit down in the living room and worship God in our living room. You can do that. You absolutely can, and you ought to be doing that. But on Sunday mornings, we come together as the community, as the team. It's a team sport, and we worship God in community. It's what He built us for because we're better that way. The pioneers didn't get in a wagon and go across to the big wide west all by themselves. They went in wagon trains because they were stronger together, and we are too. So if you are in need, you lean against those of us who can help. If you are someone who can help, you lean into those of us that need a little help. If you have got it all figured out, and you don't, and I don't, nobody does, but if you've got it all figured out, you share that and you pass it on so that we can guard it for the future. And if you have questions, you lean into the ones who have been doing this longer than we have. And that is how we all get there in the end. Remember, God might have made you a finger, He might have made you a toe, but He made somebody else a mouth, He made somebody else an ear. And when we all work together, we all come across the finish line together. I love you so much. I'll see you either tonight at our Wednesday night programming, everything's up and on and going, or I'll see you on Sunday and we'll do this thing together.